Okay, so if you choose to do the extra stuff like the Christmas tree Rice Krispie treat, you need the 6 cups Rice Krispies. It's the basic Rice Krispie recipe. Okay, then you're gonna put 3 tablespoons of butter to get hot. All right. Now we want to cook this over low heat. All right. So once this melts, then we'll add in our marshmallows. So we also need 10 ounces of marshmallows. Alright, and then we're going to use some Pam, about a spray or 2 for our hands when we're trying to form the trees, okay? Once this is melted in with the butter, you take it off the heat immediately, because if you start cooking it down too much, it's going to reduce and the sugar is going to get too hard. So once that's done, I'm going to bring it back into frame, and I'm going to show you how we add the food coloring to get the proper green tint before we fold in the Rice Krispie treats. Okay, so I'm going to get that on the stove right now real quick. So the butter's all melted underneath, so I'm just going to stir this and put it back on the heat until it's all gooey. And then I'm going to show you how we add in the gel slowly. Okay, I'm going to put that back on the stove. Just one quick thing about food dye. This is a fruit gel. The difference is that it will not make your icing or whatever you're cooking more liquidy. It will not take away from the consistency, and it will add a nice, really bright color without making it watery like the other water-based dyes. Okay? This is what they use mostly for cupcakes and competitive icing challenges and all that stuff. Alright, so now we're at the right point here. We have the big marshmallows, so I'm going to stir this up a little more. Take it off the heat, keep stirring it a little bit. You never want to put the Rice Krispie treats in and put this on the heat, because everything's going to cook down too much and get too hard. Okay? So I'm going to add a bit of the green. See how much I need. Keep mixing it. Anytime you add in some kind of food coloring, you want to do it in the liquid portion. If I were to dye this with the Rice Krispie treats, it would not come out proper. The color would definitely look weird, because it would be all clumpy and it wouldn't get all mixed together. So just using a rubber spatula, get all this stuff nice, scrape down the sides, get the white marshmallow mixed in with the green until you get that nice hue that we're looking for. Okay. All right, just some more white streaks here. This is good. Now I'm gonna add my Rice Krispie treats into that. Okay, all 6 cups, and then just fold it in together until everything is really well incorporated. Get that nice color. Alright. So we're going to mold these with our hands, but we're going to use measuring cups to get the right amount of size, so we don't have, the cones are pretty much the same shape. So just mix this until it's consistently green. Okay, so these look about the right color and the right consistency that I'm looking for. All right, you can see that there's no real white pieces left, so I'm going to spray a bowl with Pam, and then I'm going to transfer this off here because the bowl is pretty hot and the pan is still pretty hot. And I'm going to spray my hands too with Pam when I mold them, as well as the cups that I'm going to measure them in. Okay, so I should do that right now real quick. Alright, so just spray them up. Alright. Now let me transfer this. Alright, so I'm going to let these guys cool down for a couple minutes. Push it down. I mean, my hands are pretty pammed up. I could try to do a few now. Okay. You want to take one of these and measure. Maybe put this in there and kind of pack it so you get a nice bunch to work with. You can let it cool if it's too hot for your hands. Yeah, so this will be a bigger tree. And so now I know I have this much. Okay, you can leave it like that, but it's not what we're going for. Alright. Then you just want to try to mold it into a tree shape. Point up like this. Alright, if it's too hot, you can let it sit for a while. See? I'm trying to do one of these things to help, like kind of pinch it at the end and twist it and pack it at the same time. See? Should have something similar to that. Sorry. Hard surface here. So just push down, mold it as best you can. Okay. One of these. Maybe make it a little smaller next time. So get a shape as best as you can like that. Pack it well. I think this is a little too hot, but this one is pretty good. I'm gonna put it on the side of my sill pad that I have here. Dry and harden up. Okay. I'm gonna let the rest cool a little more before I do them. Okay, so with these, you want them to cool all the way before you use the royal icing as your glue to decorate. Okay, so just give it a once over, see how it looks. Okay, then you can put the star on top and some bulbs, but this has to dry. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the other one when it's cold. Okay, so I got two on here drying. This one's a little smaller. Okay, let me just show you a better technique. It's still kind of warm. I'm going with the third cup now. It's a little better. Pack this guy in, and then we're going to mold it. Okay. Come on. Let it. Alright, so as it dries, it will harden up. It'll be a little easier to mold. I kind of packed this a little too hard. I'll edit this out. Okay. So just bowl it up in a way is actually easier. Okay. And then kind of do one of these things where you're kind of making like a point, like a triangle, like a pyramid shape, but at the same time you're pushing and rolling. Okay? So try to get that classic Christmas tree shape and then kind of like pull it down. I'm recording. This thing's been recording the whole time. This has been recording the whole time. Okay guys, so this is the finished bunch here. I'm gonna let them dry out a little bit. And then once they're dry and firm, I'm gonna put the bottoms on. The base, which is the Reese's Pieces cup. And then I gotta decorate it with all the other little lights and stars and whatnot. We'll get back to that next. I hope you try to do this. I mean, it's just a suggestion, just a tip. Okay, so now we're gonna decorate our Christmas trees that we made from Rice Krispie treats earlier. I'm gonna take my homemade royal icing, okay? I'm gonna twist it pretty well over here, and you hold it between your pointer finger and your thumb and you twist it. I also have a rubber band there to help it from going out the other way, and then you use your finger to guide and make a design. So we'll just do one of these, and I'm going to use these guys are our favorite Reese's Pieces peanut butter mini cups, fun size, for our tree stumps. These look pretty good. I'll go right underneath there and give it a nice look. So we'll just put a little bit, make sure we tighten the bag here. All right, and just with my finger, I'm just going to squeeze and just get as much of that out as I can. Mine came out a little thick. I like it like cork, so I'm squeezing a little hard. Yours won't be as hard. You can loosen it up. So I'm going to take this and just give it a good little push right there. Just push it in. And just, you don't want to have too much icing coming out. And there you go, you got your little Christmas tree. Stand up nice. Alright. I'm going to do another one and let them dry on the bottom before I start to decorate the rest of them. So let me get my Reese's Pieces. And now with the Reese's Pieces cup, I will glue it to the bottom again. It's always good to glue it on this side. Alright, and just push down with pressure. Alright. That should be more than enough, because once that dries, that stuff is on there for good. And just right in the middle. Alright. And just push it down. Just a little pressure. You don't want to break the peanut butter cup. Okay. So that guy's looking pretty good right there. Now let these guys dry. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and I am going to decorate some of them. So let's decorate some of these trees. Right? I'm going to do a combination of seasonal nonpareils. Some of these things I showed you before. Just a few, and then you could use your own imagination. These are just some suggestions. Okay, and I'll do a time lapse and I'll show you the rest. Alright. We also have this edible diamond dust for cakes that you could kind of sprinkle gently on certain things like this, and this is edible, so you can get that sparkle going. Okay, and make sure they're edible before you use them for people or for consuming other things. You could mix this in with icing too, it'll give you that look. Okay, so it gives you a little sparkle. Alright, do this a little bit more with some of the other ones. Okay, I'm just doing this nice so you can kind of see how nice I get that nice sparkling twinkliness to them. Okay, alright, so now I got glitter all over my hands. Let's put this guy away. I'm going to put the stars on first. Alright, I have a few stars here. Just to do a couple, and then I'll speed it up. Alright, so make sure we got our glue here. Now let's take one of these nice trees. Alright, this one looks pretty nice. Alright, now we're gonna put some on the bottom here of the star. Okay, and just adhere it as best we can. Okay. Now this may be a little delicate and may want to lop off, but you want to make sure it's in a sturdy area somewhere as it dries, because it'll dry it'll dry very hard and stiff, and it won't fall once it's on this. So be careful, put it somewhere where it's not going to get toppled over by a little child or younger brother or dog, whatever. If you put too much on top, you know, you don't want too much of the white to show. You just want to, you know, add these on top. Okay. Alright. I'm just going to let them dry. Alright. So that's a decent one here. You got, this is dried on now. The Reese's Pieces. So if you want to do other things, you just got to do it a little at a time. Just lay it on its side. And just put a dot for each thing that you want to add, like the little light bulbs we have here. Alright. Okay, so do this. So just do them in a, like, kind of like a dot like this kind of thing. Okay. And make sure there's enough icing so you can adhere the light bulb. Okay. You could use tweezers if you have. I mean, we're not in a high-end French restaurant, but if you want to have tweezers, you want to do this, it'll be a little less messy. But you can use your fingers as well. I mean, I have these big fat sausage fingers, so sometimes it's a little difficult. But, you know, just adhere them on like that. Just nice and quickly. Okay. They'll dry really nicely. Okay. So this keeps with the concept of having everything edible on your Christmas trees or your gingerbread houses, any accessories. So make sure the colors are separated. Alright. So that's a little bit of one there. You can clean it up with the spatula a little bit if you want. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, that's one example. Okay, let me do a few of them in time lapse here so you can check them out better. Hey, happy guys, and welcome to our gingerbread house demonstration construction. So I know most of you guys are using kits, so I just want to go over a few things before I get started and show you how to assemble, give you some tips and tricks. Okay, so I made my own gingerbread. I usually do every year because I make with my kids. So I just want to show you real quick the templates and stuff before I get into the next step. So I have my two roof sections, my two sides, and one side has the door. If you can see it here, there's a door cut out. I'm gonna cover it with some decoration and some royal icing, and I got my two sides. Now I have these holes here for windows that I'm going to show you my technique for making some glass, which is very easy, but also a major important thing that you need is definitely this, the royal icing. So this is royal icing I made. This will probably come in your kit, okay? It hardens really fast, and it's kind of like the glue that we like to say in culinary terms, especially for anything royal icing, making cookies, making gingerbread houses, and keep it solid. So I'll just put that on the side for now. But usually I would make the dough, roll it out, and I would use this pre-printed template, okay? And this would give me my guide. So as you can see here, cut 2 for the roof, cut 2 for the front door, 1 for the door and sides. And this, I use a different kind of cookie cutter to get that different design. So before we begin doing the decorating and all that stuff, I want to talk about one French thing called mise en place, which is M-I-S-E-E-N-P-L-A-C-E, which means before you begin anything, you want to have all your stuff ready to go, everything unwrapped, all your toppings and other things that you're making, all unwrapped, okay? Make sure your bag of M&Ms or bag of sprinkles or container of sprinkles are all ready and empty, open and ready to go. Just a real quick, just to show you these nice, beautiful Rice Krispie trees. They came out really good. I let them air out. They hardened up nicely, so we'll decorate them later using the royal icing, and we'll stick some things on. Okay, also there was a few wreaths that I had made. It's the same idea. You just kind of make them rounded shapes, and we can hopefully stick it on this guy, or maybe on the front door, or somewhere else, or maybe we'll just eat them. All right, so before we start anything else, I just want to show you one more trick, which is making the glass, so the stained glass. Okay, so let me show you that real quick. Alright, so now I've got them separate bags. You want to get the air out and then use either a rolling pin or something to like just smash them up, okay? So let me just do that delicately right now, as delicately as I can. Alright, I'm going to use one of these things that's nearby. Actually, I have, in my art desk here, I have, sorry, this is a clay roller actually, just give it, well, these are hard. Just smash them up. They don't joke when these are, say, hard candy, huh? Okay, try to get one at a time. There. Ideally, I wanted to find blue because blue gives a good reflection for a window. I guess these were a little cold because they've been in my basement. Just try to aim one at a time. Okay. Push them up a little bit like that. These are hard. Okay. Alright, so these are okay. I'm gonna get them a little more finer, and then I'm gonna move them into my little house. Alright, great. Now that I've smashed my sugar into oblivion, I actually went into my shed and I got some real heavy-duty hammers and stuff, because you want it to be kind of like almost like a dust. You don't want it to be too chunky. So the idea is I'm just going to take the pieces that have the holes in them, and you're going to, I mean, this is if you do this is not a requirement, and you want to take some, you could actually do like a cool multicolor thing if you do like half and half. You know, you could do like a stained glass look if you do. I've seen people make these beautiful cathedrals. But you want to put a little bit more that comes out a little bit. But as far as the excess goes, try to scrape the excess off the top. You just want it in, because it will melt and it will spread out. Okay? Kind of move that away. Get the rest over here, put it in the corner somewhere. When you blow it off, if you will. Alright, so you just get each hole perfectly with that. Then we'll do a little green. I think the front and the back will do green. Just carefully try to aim for the hole there. And the excess, just want to move to the side because you don't want it to melt on top of the house and then give you like these burned scorch marks. You just want these perfect little windows. Alright, so you want to make sure that everything is centered in that hole. Everything else, so just get it out of there. Don't worry if it melts and burns over here, because we're going to throw away that paper anyway. So do one of these things, shake it up a little bit. So we may have a tad too much, so we'll transfer them to this guy here. Okay. This is kind of tedious if you have big sausage fingers like I do. Okay, we'll just clean the excess. Where's my brush? I have some brushes around here. It's a clean paintbrush I have here. Just brush some off. Just brushing that extra crystal off. Make it towards the center. Same with this guy in case I forgot. Right, any excess, just get them out of there. Get them off to the side. Don't worry about moving everything around because you don't want to jostle all these nice little pieces you already have. This one will go with the half and half again. Half red, half yellow. Could get a little sticky on your fingers, so you want to work fast. Okay. Ideally, like I said, I wish I could find some blue hard candy, but it was difficult this time of year. In class, we would learn how to do different styles of what's called the hard crack stage, which is where you do like candy apples and candy glass. Just as a fun fact, if you watch a movie or a TV show where people get into like some kind of a fight, and they're smashing bottles on each other's heads and stuff like that, that's made from sugar. That's at that hard crack stage like this, like hard candy. So that it looks real, sounds real sometimes, and no one gets hurt. And then you can eat the props. Let's put a little more green in here. Keep it in there. Okay, I think we're good. So discard the rest. Okay, this one. Shake it up like that, make it a little even. Just maybe a little bit more. Okay. Just a little bit more. Alright. Okay. So press this down lightly, just get rid of some of that excess. Alright. This guy got some dust on it, it's alright. Like I said, this door we're gonna decorate with some royal icing and stuff. So this stuff will take just about 5 minutes in the oven, okay? Something really easy you could do without having to actually make your own like molten sugar, which is very dangerous. And since we haven't done that in person together this year, I really don't recommend it. If you want to try doing this method, feel free. It's very simple, very easy. Okay? So I'm gonna pop these guys in the oven for about 5 minutes, but you actually want to keep an eye on them, just so you know that they're not like melting too much and they're not getting really too hot. Okay. You don't want it to bubble up and caramelize. You just want it to melt, and then let them dry, and then there'll be perfect pieces of glass inside the gingerbread. Like I said, now you can see these just came out of the oven. They're still very hot. You can see how they all got nice and melted and contoured into the shape. And you could, even though I had it like kind of like a little mountain of sugar, that it melted into the form perfectly. So I'm gonna let these cool for a while before I start to move them. And then after that, we're gonna get to our construction. Show you how to do those trees if you want, and do some house assembly and some decoration, okay? Alright, so as we wait for those Christmas trees to dry on the bottom, they're looking pretty lovely here. Okay, we're just gonna let them dry a couple minutes or so before we start to put on the other decorations. And even if you don't do this for your houses, it's always cute to decorate these and put them around the house. Okay, so I just want to get these guys together, all right? So first things first, you want to make sure that you're putting them on the right way. Okay, so This is my front and back, and then I have my roof tiles. Okay. But before I put it on my base, and this is the base I was talking about before, this is a foam core or foam board. You could use blister board or even cardboard as a base. A kit would come with something to put it on, but you want something that's sturdy, that's not going to break. If you use cardboard, you want to at least try to put 2 or 3 pieces pasted together with some Elmer's glue. Alright, but before I put that work on there, I want to work on my parchment paper to get these guys all connected properly. Okay, so the walls, at least for mine, they don't go on the side, they go behind here. Okay, they go like that because if I put them like that, once I get the roof piece, if you can see real quick, is not going to go flush with the edge of my steeple. So that has to be really flush. It's almost modeled after a birdhouse. Plus we want to be gentle because we don't want to pop out the glass that we made. Alright? So I'm going to take my cement here, my liquid cement, and I made it really thick, and I got to glue this to the back, and I'm going to let them dry. Okay? Just be careful, don't put pressure on the cookie. Alright? Just put enough, and mine is really thick, so it's coming out hard. Just enough to get there, and you don't want to have too much of it popping out. Find that better angle. Alright, and just put it like that. Alright, now you can use cans and other things real quick. I like to use cans. Alright, so I couldn't find cans small enough because I like to do mini ones, but you want to give them a chance to dry. So I got my trusty Sclafani, pizza sauce tomatoes here. So I'm just gonna it's just gonna be like a support. I just want to get that and make sure it's a nice, perfect 90-degree angle. If you're really technical like me, you want to get rid of some of that excess icing. Okay, you could just use straight edge spatula and then just take that off. Alright, so we're gonna let that one dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Let them dry before I connect them a bit. Alright. So this side is going on here. Alright, because actually this side, so when I connect them, they'll interlock, and then they'll dry a little more before I put the roof on. That's the only thing. Some of these you got to wait a little bit. It's kind of like a waiting game. But this will dry in a couple hours to be very, very solid. Okay. Like I said, don't put too much pressure on the cookie itself. Some people like to put some more on the inside for more support, and you can do that as well, but it's not necessary. Alright. So I'm gonna let this guy hang out over here. Get my can. Just be very gentle at this point. Okay. Alright, so if you guys don't have interlocking pieces, you just want them to glue like this. Alright, so just let them sit. I would say for a little while, at least a half hour, an hour or so. And I'm going to let them, as they dry, I'm going to start working on some of these Christmas trees. Actually, I decided to just go ahead and do the board part first, because I am going to make a few. So you're going to put some glue down on your board before you put these pieces on, or your cardboard. Okay, just follow the line. Just imagine a line here. Keep it straight. Okay, the same with this right here. And then on the board itself, we're going to decorate, with the trees and all the other decorations that we made, and the ones we have that are pre-made as well. Okay, this one's starting to dry, set up real nice. So I'm going to take this guy here. Alright, don't worry about that, it's fine. Okay, so let me put some here as well. Okay. Just at these points, you got, when you're stacking them or doing this kind of, you don't want to put too much pressure because too much pressure may crack it. Okay, if you got any loose bits on the bottom, you can use a spatula, clean that straight edge. Because I'm going to put snowbanks all around when this thing is done. Okay, let me just put a little more of my caulk and glue on here just to get these all nice and stuck. Me, I'm very impatient with these things. I like to do them really fast. Okay, but you know, you got to be careful because this takes time. Okay, so put these together. Light pressure, make sure they're even on both sides here. Okay, and this is a small one compared to some other ones I've made that are like monsters, especially with other students in the past. We've done some real big stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry now because I really want to let this dry before I put the roof on and start adhering anything else that is in conjunction with the outside here. Okay, and I'm also gonna like decorate this door real quick, which I forgot, but I'm gonna wait for it to dry a little bit because I don't want to put any pressure and collapse the whole structure. All right, so let's sit tight and let's get on those Christmas trees real quick. So I'm not gonna glue the roof on together and get everything going, but before I show you that, one more thing with these little trees is that you can, without making a mess, make sure you have a tray so all the things don't go around, and you can push out and make a spiral design, kind of push hard against the green and rotate it in your hands, just as a simpler way to add things on. Just make sure you got a good enough amount of icing in a spiral kind of pattern here. All right, make sure it's going up the side as well. All right, yeah, it's a little thick. All right, just kind of just get your non-periel things, dump them out here a little bit, and just kind of like roll this in like that. So we'll pick it up, kind of push it a little bit. So you get like a nice little decoration here, just a simple, easy wreath-like thing. You could do another one going down the side. Okay, if you like, whatever you want to do. Okay. This is really hard icing, see. Okay, and just give it a little twirl in there. Okay, so you can kind of lift this up to meet it. Okay, so you get yourself a nice little treat without using all the tweezers and all that stuff, something a little simpler. Okay. Alright, so that doesn't look too bad. Okay, we'll let this guy dry on the side. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna what's up. I have mine from before that came out pretty nice. All these with the lights on top. There's this stuff here, but I thought it would be good, but this licorice stuff is really not that great. Other times I've dyed icing black and used that to make the little designs, but not this time around. Okay, just a little decorated the wreath a little bit, this one and that one. Okay, so let's put the roof on this guy. So it's been drying pretty well. Okay, just want to see a little bit. You don't want to like grab at it. No matter how much you do in one sitting, you have to let it dry at least for overnight to be safe. Okay. So I got my two pieces here for the roof. All right, let's make sure everything's centered. All right, and then let's glue these on. So first we gotta get the icing on the sides, on the steeple, as well as the rest of the house. Okay, so let me just twist up my bag, make sure I get all the icing flowing forward. Okay. All right, and then we'll start here, top. And one thing that you see me squeezing hard is that I did the icing a little too thick this year. I mean, at least with this batch. Okay. My other batch, hopefully I won't do so hard, but it's because I did these with real egg whites, not meringue powder. And if you leave it out too much with the fresh egg whites, they really stiffen even inside the bag. Okay. And definitely leave this at room temperature before you use it, because if you put it in the fridge, you're gonna have a block of cement, literally, and it will be unusable. Okay. I'm just gonna go across here just in case we need some extra. And then go right up the steeple here, nice and easy. You notice that I'm not squeezing from the bottom, I'm using my finger to guide. Okay. All right. Just a little bit more here. All right. Okay, so let's get our houses, and you see it overhangs a little bit. So we want to do this, make sure it's nice and even on top. So let's just line it up here, and that looks about right there. And I'm going to press gently, not too hard. Okay, I'm pushing on the other side of the house. Now this part you want to let dry a little longer because there's gravity pushing down, so you don't want to have it too hard. Okay, like this is where the base comes in handy. You could use a cake wheel, I've done that in the past, but I don't have one with me here. It's in school. Okay, and just put this guy right there evenly, pushing some pressure. Now you may see this thing here opening. That's fine, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, when we finish the roof and put on the tiles, you won't really notice it. Okay, I'm gonna pipe a little bit here on top, just to go back and forth if you want to make a zigzag. And then on top of here, I'm gonna add some light bulbs and some other things. But I really want this to dry at least an hour or so before I start working on that. Okay. So just give them a little press more, kind of pick them up. Don't go like lopsided like this. Just look around. Well, if any, leftover remnants of the gingerbread. So this is kind of like a Snoopy house, kind of like a bird house. So I'm just gonna tilt this for a second because I forgot to do the door. So the door, I'm just going to lead with my icing and just go up. I'm not pressing down, I'm making a line. It's called leading the icing. So you kind of let it come out a little bit and then you drag it into position. Okay, just make a little square there. Alright, and then I'm going to make a little thing here for a doorknob. Let me see, do I have... I don't think I have something that matches that color, but put something there. Let me get my fancy tweezers, and we'll put a little guy right there. Okay. Alright. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is all just fun. Okay. These competitions I've done in the past, they get really competitive. So, alright. So now it's good that we're going to let this guy dry for about, I would say, an hour or so, and then give us time to clean up this fantastic mess that we've put together here. So let's try to do some of the roofing. Okay, now I did some in fast motion here just to show you how to do some lights here. Ideally, I want to do them down the sides as well, and that way. So, let me put these guys aside and grab my roofing material, which is one suggestion that you could use. I mean, other people use pretzels, they use different things. You could use Necco wafers, those little wafers that they used to make back in the day. They still sell them, but you have to get them online or in a specialty candy shop like Eggers or that other place down in Chelsea. Alright, so our roofing of choice will be mini weeds. Done this once before in a while, but they actually give you a nice hut-like appearance. Okay, let me just grab my container here. And the fact that they have frost on them already, it's kind of like a built-in snow effect already on them, right? All right, so let's, first of all, we have to make sure, you know, I'm gonna take this off my tray because I had the tray here just to, you know, pick up all the little nonpareils and sprinkles and whatnot, and to help me work in a cleaner fashion. You don't want to make a mess. So this thing is drying pretty nicely. I wanted to put these in here at the top just before everything started to solidify, because this guy is, like I said, the batch I made the other day of these icing is really difficult, really hard. Okay, so let's do like a hatch work on here to put these our roofing on top. So we're going to put a couple lines here. That's okay, it doesn't matter because we're going to cover that up. Okay, all right, don't be afraid to put more. Wow, this is thick today. Oh, this stuff I made like crazy. Okay, all right, so let's assemble. Here we got our stuff. All right, so obviously you want the white, the frosted side up, and just start to just gently press. Remember, not too much pressure, okay? Too much pressure, you don't want to push into the structure and compromise it. You know, you just want it to settle a little bit, then you can move on to the next one. So we should fit about 4 in here or so. You know, don't worry if it's not perfect, okay? All right, so you just have that little, maybe, I think we'll put 5. We'll have them come hanging over a little bit. All right. Okay. Should have pre-measured my, oh no worries. One of these things. Okay. Fit the scale. Okay. So we got a nice little pieces like that, all right? Alright, so let's finish this guy up. I'm going to show you guys how to do the snow drifts. Hopefully he's dry enough. Okay, and then we'll get the some of the other nice little additions. Okay, we're going to take off the support structures first. Just like the hold. Okay. Alright, so we got this guy centered. He looks alright. Pretty well glued. I got some supports there I got to take off. I'll show you how to do some snowscapes, and we'll glue on those Christmas trees that came out so nice. But I'm going to carefully take out my supports. Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm going to put one tree close so I can actually use that as a support as well. So I did the one side with the wreath, the one side with the different kind of roofing with the shredded mini wheats. I mean, you could do so many different ways with the roofs. I mean, people have used pretzels, black licorice. They've used like that gummy fruit tape and then cut it up and make little shingles across. It's just a matter of how much time you have and how much ability you have to get those things. Like one of mine is the Necco wafers. Look pretty nice, but this is like your hut side. This is your regular, you know, simple gingerbread side. All right, so now I'm just gonna take some of this extra royal icing I have here and just create some snow banks and stuff. Just kind of just like throw it down. Okay. Usually need a bigger spatula for this. You know, just kind of make like this, just like go back and forth. You know, make it pile up. And this is how you could stick other things on here, other candies, other things, and then kind of like just play with it, make some snow drifts. That's how you can make footsteps and stuff like that if you wanted to. You know, because like you want to. So use the back of the spatula to get underneath there. Use the back just to spread it around, just to give it that nice little texture. And I'm gonna put some other things on there to give it some shine as well. Okay, just be careful while you're working. You don't want to like drop it over because it could get a little heavy on one side. Okay. All right. And you could build up snowmen here. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. There's too much on one side, just scrape it off with the back. Bring it to the other sides, the other spots that you like it. You could just kind of press down lightly and just scrape. Kind of make like some snow drifts. Alright, so this guy's sticky here. So this here, I'm going to put one of my trees here. So I'm going to build up a little bit here. And then just get the sides even. And kind of lift it and scrape like this so you kind of get everything even. So even if it's just a little smear or schmear, it shows well. Okay, just for the sides so it doesn't look just completely barren on those sides. Okay. I'll put this down before I drop it. Just a little more. When I used to do these gingerbread competitions, we would go through God knows how much of this royal icing. We would make it like all day long. We'd be making royal icing. Okay. Think of it as like a stucco. Okay. Okay. Alright. That's good. Try not to get it on the house, just try to keep it on the platform. Just lift it lightly just when you want to get those edges. Be careful, like if you're using something that's not as strong as this board or a double cardboard or some kind of very thick blister board, you don't want to put too much weight on this with one hand. No, don't give it up all the way to one hand. So just do like that. Okay, make sure the front here got a little bit here. Make sure that's all good. Alright, so I'm just gonna put it on my can here for 1 second just so I can look around. Ideally, it would be best if you had like a cake wheel so you could just spin it as you need to, which we usually do, but kind of don't have one right now. So you use a can, just turn a can. Got my trusty old Sclafani can there. Okay. Alright, so alright, cool. So I'm gonna take this guy off. Actually, I want to put some of these, have these come out. Have this thick sugar, you could kind of add it on for effect. We'll give it like a nice shine, like a little glare, kind of in the light. It looked like an nice icy snow. And guys, if you think you're not going to make a mess doing this with your kids or whatever, you will. So don't be too nuts. If you get some sugar on the floor, just make sure you clean it up afterwards. This is never a simple project, so that looks pretty nice when you have it like that. If you can see the light a little better, you can see it sparkle. There we go, there's some lighting. Okay, some nice sparkles. All right, so now I'm gonna take a few of those trees that I made. I'm gonna take maybe one, put it in the front yard right here. All right, just push them down in that stuff we just made. Okay, maybe another one here. Maybe this guy's got some snow on it, so just take this and just, you know, take some of the excess and just give it a little, just drag it, give it a little snow look to it. It's got some snow. Maybe if you have any of those nonpareils sticking around, or I like to just put it in that sugar. So you get like this whole effect of it. Got some snow, some glistening on there. Pop that guy right here, just push down a little bit, not too hard. Let me do this guy too. Alright, so just with a little bit, just, you know, just get in between those little crevices. Alright. Okay, cool. And then wherever those nonpareils were, just give them a little dip. Okay, I'm just dipping them in there. You can see here, just shake them up. Hey, look, and they're all adhering nicely. And now you got your little tree. So festive. What a mess. But it's really fun, especially with my kids. My kids, I'm going to do with them later, the same one. I like this little one because it's not too crazy. Everybody's not sitting there eating this stuff all day long. So I'll take one of our big trees and I'll do the same thing. Okay, just give us a little, just like you're spreading butter on a roll. You know, not too deep because you just want to get the outsides. Yes, and your fingers will get full of icing. This stuff is it's impervious to soap sometimes too. So I just get a little more. Just make it a little messy. Just let it naturally look like snow falling from the top down. Okay, not too much, and then we'll get our little. Let me just roll it over here. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. All right, so it's a little messy, but this is how it goes. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I had some little mishap here, but everything is okay. So just remember, these really came out really nice, especially into the wreath here, the trees, the Reese's Pieces bottoms. These are always really nice. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the tips and tricks here. I got some pictures too to follow, and now I'm going to eat this. Merry Christmas, everybody.